Bonjour, welcome to Notorious DID. This is Valprey. Today I wanted to speak with you about if DoorDash is worth the working for it. Yes and no. You're not going to make a substantial amount of money, so it would be for after gas making a few dollars each day. So if you're looking to make only $20 to $40 additional a day, that in retrospect would be based on working 4 hours to 6 hours with DoorDash. With travel time and things of this nature, you can usually work maybe 1 to, at the very most, 3 of their orders an hour. Depend upon your tip and your base pay, that's where you're going to figure out what you're going to make. I will say, especially with the rise in gas, that most of your money is going to go straight toward gas. Keep this in mind, because in a 4 to 6 hour shift, you can spend $40 in gas with traveling. They don't cover your distance. They don't cover your gas. Now, what do they have currently? Okay, through August, they have an incentive program for gas. There's a card called Dasher Direct. Now, Dasher Direct allows you to have your money placed upon the card most usually immediately. However, if it's on a weekend, it may take a day to still get that posted to your card. So don't anticipate as soon as you in dashing that it's going to go directly to the card, because sometimes it may not. Also, it is a 10% incentive towards your gas. What does this mean? If you pay, because currently the vehicle we are using requires $60 to fill the tank. So 10% of that would be $6 back. The catch with this, and pay attention because we did not know this until we started. The catch with this is that you have to have over $100 that you have on your Dasher Direct card before you can use it toward gas, because there is a, I believe, $99 hold upon the card when you go to gas up. If you do not have over $100 on that card, it is not going to let you use the incentive, and it is not going to let you use it, period, toward the gas. Anything under $100, it is not going to let you use that card. Not for the gas. Please remember that, because that's a huge difference. There are only certain places that you can get the gas. Currently, the ones that I've noticed are Speedway, Exxon stations, and Walmart. So it is limited to where you can get the gas to get the incentive. Also, you have to have that $100 on your Dasher Direct card to be able to get that incentive. There's a catch to most things in this world. That little bit of an incentive is still something. However, after August, it's going to 2%. So 2%, just to give you an idea, some of the orders that you take, when you take an order, You take the order based on where it is, and it gives you an approximate amount. If you don't take the orders, it counts against you because you're not accepting orders. Even if it's a $4.25 or whatever it lists, it will go against you if you don't take it. So say you take the order, sometimes for $4.25, things of this nature. Once you gather the items at the store that you are going to, you pick it up at the restaurant. Then when you click that you've picked it up at the restaurant, only then it gives you where it's going to. This is brilliant for them, not so brilliant for those who are delivering, because you are unaware that sometimes it can be 2 cities over. In other words, it can be 30 to 40, 45 minutes from the restaurant to where you're taking it. And you don't know this, and you won't know this until after you have already till after you've already accepted, picked it up from the restaurant, and then it lets you know where it's being delivered. So there are times with certain orders that you may be paying to work. Keep that in mind as well. Definitely keep that in mind. If you bring in approximately on a busy day, in depending upon the 4 to 6 hour shift, you can bring in a range of $70 some odd. You're automatically, say at best, you're going to bring in $80 for 6 hours work. You also have to remember you're taking out the gas. So by the time you get done taking out the gas, you're making half of that. So you've made $40 for the 6 hour shift. If this is appealing to you, then there you go. We started trying to do it because we have money that we need to earn. And there are days that maybe that extra $20 is worth it above the gas. For slow days, it's not worth it, period. Now, when you go on a dash, they're not going to just be sending them through like wildfire. It rotates out depending upon how many people are listed. I do recommend that you set up on schedule, because if you do not go in the way that they have it currently, if you don't set a schedule with it, then you're not going to get any preferences whatsoever. Not only that, but you may go where there are gaps in between an hour, 2 hours, before they'll even let you dash, because you haven't pre-set up your schedule. So this is the way that they make sure that there are people on the road, which I get that portion of it. However, they are limiting it, and what they have available, sometimes even when you schedule prior, there's a limit to what the hours are that they have available. Now, I will state, I think my computer just altered with its coloring, but anyway, that's of no consequence. So you have to pre-schedule at this point to get a better range of availability. It will count against you, as I say, if you are listed for dashing and you don't accept. You have the option of not accepting, however, it will count against you. You also need to pay specific attention to all of the different range of what they go by, because you'll fall to the bottom of the barrel if you're not meeting their requirements. It's a lot that sometimes the app itself will go down. I've had it go down in the middle of, I've picked up an item and it'll go down, and then you're struggling to get it to go, the app to come back on, the app to work back. You may have to sign out, sign back in, do that a couple of times sometimes for you to be able to get the information, because as I stated, it does not give you the information of where the item's going to until you've hit that you confirmed your pickup. And if the app drops at that point, then that person's still waiting for their items and you can't get to the information at all. That's another thing that you need to know. They don't cover any wear and tear to your vehicle. They don't cover anything of that nature. So at the back end of that, you're also looking at the wear on your vehicle, and that by the time you get done with that, if you were to add it up at the back end, you're probably not really making anything. But if you obviously you need the money today or whatever, the Dasher Direct card can take 7 to 10 business days to reach you. So sign up and know that you're not going to have the Dasher Direct prior to that. The Dasher Direct card is the only way to get it posted immediately, unless you get charged to have it sent to your account. If you have a bank account set up, then you get paid once a week. So you're going to be prepaying for gas, you're going to be prepaying for everything until they pay you the week after. So I do recommend, if you're going to sign up and do it, sign up, get the Dasher Direct card before you hit the road. That way you know that you don't have to prepay all that. Take into account, if you were to work a 5-day week with this on a side hustle, 5 days times $40, at least $40. And living in the south, it gets very hot, so there's many a time that you have to put your air conditioner on. Obviously that takes up extra gas. There's not much to do about that. But if you look at it in that perspective, that would be $200 in gas in a 5-day week that you would be paying out. Well, no, pardon. Yeah, that would be around $200 that you would pay out of your pocket prior to even making a dime, if you didn't use the Dasher Direct card. And that also gives you the perspective of what will be going out a week based on the part-time. And if you were to do it for longer hours, especially if it's not during peak time, because their peak times are not throughout the entire day. Their peak times when you get incentives like an extra $1, an extra $2.50, an extra $3 is the max that I've seen recently that you can get. But if they have $3, usually it's in a 2-hour range. Just that 2 hours you'll get the $3. Or the $1, it can be in a 2 to 6 hour range, broken into pieces, because a lot of times it'll be broken completely up. Other than that, you'll just get base pay, which I think is like $2, and your tips. And if you're doing that for a full time, I don't even see at the back end of that that you'd really make a whole lot. I mean, that's obviously up to you, what you want to do and what you think is best. But there are sometimes you'll be sent orders. You'll get used to what you're looking at with different restaurants and how long different restaurants take and things of this nature. There are certain restaurants that even if it counts against your time, they're just really not, it's not worth doing it because you're going to be waiting an hour to an hour and a half for some of these. And if you take into account that hour to an hour and a half, it's not going to change your pay rate. You're not paid for your time. Not with DoorDash. You're not paid for your time. You're not paid for your distance. And you have somewhat of a decent incentive. Currently, that's going to be going down to, especially with having to have $100 on the card to get the 2%, that's going to be frustrating. But there are certain restaurants, it's going to count against you if you don't take it. But at the back end of that, waiting an hour to an hour and a half, and that order maybe you might be making $6 and something, or $9 and something, and you know for that hour and a half, that's it. You're not going to be able to do anything else because you're going to be sitting there waiting, and that's it. So there are certain ones that I will bypass because, I mean, to me, if you're processing that, it's not worth it. It's not worth your time or anything else. You're going to end up paying them to work, if that makes sense to you. Try and work smart, not hard, and use it to the best of your ability to be able to do it. This is specifically about DoorDash. There are others, of course, like Uber Eats, and there's Grubhub. The Uber Eats application, I have not found that to be really useful at all. It sends you to long distances. The first order that took with that was $5 something, and that was what you were going to make. And by the time you got done with picking up the order, it took probably, it's like I say, with travel distance, most orders take about a half hour to, depending upon the traffic itself, can take up to 40 minutes or more. With the distance that they send you, that's another calculation. So $5 something, I ended up working, paying them. I ended up paying out of pocket for that first Uber Eats. And that's definitely not worth it. I mean, you're there to make some money, not to work for free and put out money out as that. It's difficult right now with gas prices for any of these types of gig work. I'm not going to pretend like it isn't. And like I say, put it in perspective. Obviously, you're not going to get rich, but really, it's called a side hustle for a reason, because you're not going to be making a lot of money. If you are getting out there to be able to get around, some people that maybe have problems with getting around, it does help with mobility and getting out there and moving. And it helps with a little bit of cash for each day. But that's the ins and outs of DoorDash. Thank you for coming to visit us. Obviously, this is not one of our standard videos. It is specifically about DoorDash. But if you're interested in our standard videos, which are about dissociative identity disorder, we welcome you to come and join us. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the comment, and leave us a comment about anything you wish. We do get back to all comments. Hit the notification bell so you can be one of the first to know when we post videos. And we thank you very much for coming to listen to us. This has been Valkyrie for the Notorious DID, and I say adios.